What's going on, y'all? You'll notice I'm out of the hospital, and I've got a long story that covers a long time. And for some reason, it all culminated in the last like 6 days in between, now and the last video. That there were so many things changing that I couldn't really make a solid update. So back on January the 4th, Medicaid sent me a letter saying they were terminating my coverage. And that would happen on January 31st. This was 2 days before I went to the hospital. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'll at least be in the hospital, can reapply, and I'll be okay. And so January 8th, I applied to Medicaid, thinking it wouldn't take that long. And 51 days later, right, comes to Friday. So on Friday, my doctors are going to release me, and then they look at my insurance and they're like, oh, you don't have insurance. I thought, we've been billing it to the insurance and everything. And I was like, oh, coverage ended on January 31st. So they messaged my stem cell transplant doctor, who I need to see. And if I don't see him, I can't take an immunosuppressant, which without it, I will have a serious graft versus host reaction and, have to go to the hospital, potentially like die. Like it's a serious thing without the immunosuppressant. And so stem cell transplant doctor messages them and he's like, hey, I can't see him without insurance. Like, too bad. Y'all are just gonna have to wait until he has insurance. And so on Friday, the discharge plan became wait until Medicaid approves me. And so I was losing my mind. Like, what kind of plan is that to wait until you have insurance to let somebody out of the hospital? And their reasoning was that it would simply be too expensive. And look, while I understand that, I was also on the hook for my hospital stay. So, and this is news to me, I was on the hook for the hospital stay, which is way more expensive than anything outpatient, possibly could be. Which is ridiculous. And I didn't know that until I came home and got the mail that said, hey, Medicaid only covers 30 days of a hospital stay. So I stayed an extra 6 days in the hospital without knowing that I was getting charged for all those days. Crazy stuff. And I think they were under the impression that, and most insurances work this way, that when you go into the hospital, regardless of when your coverage ends, when you get discharged is when everything gets billed. And everything gets billed to the insurance that you had when you entered the hospital. And I think that was their impression. And that was my impression too. I didn't realize that Medicaid only covered 30 days of the hospital, which is crazy. Yeah, especially for Medicaid for people with disabilities, or it's Medicaid for the elderly and people with disabilities. It'll these are long hospital stays. I can't believe it only covers 30 days. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, so the reasoning was that blood transfusions are $3,000, and that's a ton of money, and the testing, is pretty expensive. But I saw from their reaction to, one medication was look, I don't like to spend a lot of money, but it was $400 for the month's supply. And then, they taper down. So it would be less and less over time, and just $400 now. And then, ideally I'd have insurance next month. So things would be all covered there. But they were whoa, I don't know if you can pay this to get out. And it's like, dude, if it's like 400, if it's just $400 just to get out, like that's, you know, that's annoying, but that's why you have savings. And yeah, the whole plan is just blow through my savings. Anyway, but I've got a $4,000 grant from Leukemia Lymphoma Society to pay for copays and medications and everything. So I actually didn't pay that. That was all billed to Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and they were able to negotiate it down, which is really nice. And on top of that, they can pay for hospital visits and doctor's visits, and apparently they're able to negotiate it down, so it shouldn't be like crazy expensive. I don't anticipate that I'll get through that $4,000 grant before I have insurance. My stepdad is saying me about getting me back on his insurance, but we'll see how that works out with Medicaid. They have the way that Medicaid works, that I decided to leave and not wait the 9 days when I did think that they were covering my stay, was because I called them on Monday and they told me, like, no, it is not 60 days until you get approved or denied. It is 60 days until you get into the next application stage. And there are 3 application stages. And my application was in received. It was not in review. Now it's in review. It took, however long it's been since I applied to put it in review. But 60 more days until they decide on whether I get approved or denied. So yeah, we'll see about that. Right now I'm back in Austin. I don't know. I miss my girlfriend, I'll be honest. I missed my friends, and I missed just staying in my own place. And today I've done a ton of cleaning, and cleaning with cancer is really a big workout. All the bending down, you have no idea. You have no idea how much you bend down when you clean, but so much. And every time you bend down, stand back up when you have low blood counts and, barely any cardio, it's a big workout. And it takes a lot out of you. So I recorded this like in my little break. My room is disgusting right now. And I've been in the process of cleaning it, but I really needed a decent break from that. But yeah, I'm in Austin right now. The plan is to go back up on Friday to see my stem cell transplant doctor. I sent him a message while I was in the hospital saying, hey, I'm gonna leave AMA and just go to Austin. So if y'all are gonna work with me, like, let me know. But right now, that's my plan, to go down to Austin and see my oncologist instead of y'all. And so they messaged me back and they're like, hey, we're actually willing to see you. So got that all sorted out. Although, it does suck that I don't have insurance, but it's the boat I'm in, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's a lot of grants to help with that and everything. So hopefully, financial assistance is out there and available. There's a ton for cancer patients. So far I've been sent more money than I've paid, I think. I mean, obviously, like, being out of work, like, yeah, I've lost a ton of money from cancer. But in terms of just like zeros and ones, I've a net positive from the grants I have been sent, and the bills I have been sent. Granted, from the start, my parents did pay a decent chunk, maybe. I don't know exactly how much they paid. They still owe me a lot of money, but yeah, that's my update. Very, very rambly today, because there's a lot to say.